Hi, my amazing artist. Today in this video you're going to learn how to color your Frank Stella circle compositions, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that and some helpful tips so that you have an amazing drawing. First, you're going to want to gather your coloring materials, so you can use crayons, colored pencils, a mixture of the two if you want. Either one is fine. I'm going to be using crayons just because I like how they look and mix together. So, and your drawing. You'll want your drawing that we did last class. So, a couple helpful hints. We want to create balance in our picture. We talked about that last class and how we wanted to create balance by spreading out our circle sizes. We want to create balance also with colors. So this means taking our same colors that we use inside of our project and spreading them around our whole piece. So you can see here I use this like red-violet color here and up here at the top and on the right, up on the upper top, and on the bottom right. And so I've got it on the left and the right on both sides, on the upper half and the lower half. So I'm spreading that color around. Same thing with like my orange. I'm spreading it so that it balances each other out and it all looks like it's working together. Another thing we want to create is called contrast. Contrast shows the differences between two things. So in our case it's colors. So a lot of times I say try to pair a warm color with a cool color next to each other. This will create that visual contrast so we really still see the outline of the individual shape that's made by crisscrossing all those circles. So here we've got our red, which is one of our warm colors. We've got our blue and purple and green, which are our cool colors. And same thing up here, we have our green, which is our cool. But up here, our yellow is a warm, but because it's not really next to a lot of the red, it still stands out. And our red-violet is a warm, but it isn't a big section, so it's okay. If two families do sit next to each other, we just want to make sure the bigger spots are that opposite. So to begin, you're just going to take a color, color it in one of your shapes. Remember, when coloring in, you want to use good craftsmanship, so this means you want to use that crayon or colored pencil so that it's coloring in the shape nice and solid, so that there's little to no white showing. And really try your best to stay inside your line. So a lot of you might recognize this poster from in class. So like here's a 1, a 2, a 3. You really want to aim for level 3 coloring. Now here I've done a red circle, so I probably don't want to do like a red-orange or a red-violet right next to it, just because they're very close to my red on the color wheel, so their color is going to be a little bit more similar. So I would want to choose perhaps a cool color. Complement colors are also known for great contrast, and complement colors, boys and girls, are colors found exactly opposite on the color wheel. So here I'm going to use green. I'm going to go all the way around. Okay, and then I'm going to use a yellow for my next circle. Now another thing you can do and color with, for especially I like to use it for when we do the backgrounds, just so they get a little bit colorful and they're not just one flat color. You can either use a light version of the color or a dark color. Like here I know you can't really see it as well, but I used a blue violet or a blue green on this side, and then on this half is just regular blue. So by putting two colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, like your red and your red orange, or your red orange and your orange, and coloring half of a section, you can make it so they blend together in the middle, but then it just makes it a little bit unique and fun. Or you can do analogous colors, which are 3 colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So for my background right here, I'm going to do like a yellow-green, green, and a blue-green. Now when you color analogous, you want to make sure they're in that exact order, otherwise they're not going to blend properly. So like here we can see how it goes from red to red violet to violet. This is our analogous color scheme right here. You can see it kind of blends and fades. So I'm going to start kind of right around in here with my yellow green, and then my middle here will be my green, and then over in here will, actually I'm going to put a little bit around. My green will be here because I don't want to do blue green and blue green next to each other. So like up here, I'm going to take my yellow green. And yes, I know yellow green is part of our cool family, and this is cool. And again, as I said, it's okay to have those colors mixed, especially when they're like one's a light and one's a dark. It's still going to show that contrast and show and stand out. So now I've got my yellow green done. I'm going to now just put my green on top of that yellow green a little bit to mix them together. And then I'm going to take my green and start coloring around my shapes here. Again, remember when you're coloring nice and neat, so that way you're staying inside the shape you want and not getting into other shapes that you don't want. So now here I've got my green kind of filled out. I'm going to take my blue green, and again, just like I did over here, and I have it overlap, I'm going to color a little bit of that blue green right on top of the green so they mix together. Here now you can begin to see how that background is really starting to blend together and create that analogous color scheme. So our background's not just kind of like a boring blah one color. But you can use this technique in your shapes too. So you can color it to where you have half of a shape one color and half of it another. That's like here, like I did the light green and a dark green. So you could do that in a shape. But most of all, guys, have fun. Enjoy.